I never thought I'd be the type of person who'd get excited about exercise again. Not at 72. My name's Margaret, and 3 years ago, I couldn't even bend down to pick up my grandson without wincing in pain. My doctor just kept saying, "Well, Margaret, that's aging for you," as if I should accept that my body was simply breaking down. I remember sitting on my porch watching my neighbors walking their dogs, gardening, living their lives, while I felt trapped in a body that wouldn't cooperate anymore. I thought my active days were over, until I discovered something that changed everything. Something so simple, yet so powerful that it's given me back the life I thought was lost forever. It was my daughter who first suggested Pilates. I laughed honestly. I said, "Honey, that's for young people in spandex with perfect bodies." She showed me a YouTube video of a woman in her 80s doing modified Pilates moves. I was skeptical but desperate enough to try anything. The first class was humbling. I couldn't do most of the movements, and what I could do, I couldn't do well. But the instructor, bless her heart, kept saying something that stuck with me: "This isn't about perfection. It's about connection. Connect with your body where it is today." Where my body was that day was pretty sad, if I'm being honest. Decades of sitting at a desk job had left my posture rounded. Arthritis had settled into my hips. My balance was so poor that I'd started to fear falling, that silent terror that creeps into so many of our minds as we age. But there was something different about Pilates compared to other exercise programs I'd tried and abandoned over the years. It didn't demand that I push through pain. It didn't ask me to jump or bounce or do anything that scared me. It simply asked me to be present and mindful of each small movement. Now, I'm no fitness expert, but I've learned a lot about why Pilates works so well for people our age. It focuses on what they call the core, not just abs, but the deep muscles around your spine and pelvis. These are exactly the muscles that weaken as we age, causing back pain, poor posture, and balance issues. Research shows that seniors who practice Pilates experience improvements in balance, flexibility, and core strength, 3 things we desperately need as we age. One study found that adults over 65 who did Pilates twice a week for 12 weeks improved their balance by 30%. 30%. That's the difference between catching yourself when you trip and suffering a potentially life-changing fall. What makes Pilates different from other exercises is its emphasis on control rather than repetition. It's not about how many you do, but how well you do them. This precision protects our joints while still strengthening our muscles. And here's something fascinating. Pilates was actually developed by Joseph Pilates while he was interned during World War I. He created exercises for bedridden patients by attaching springs to hospital beds so they could resistance train while lying down. It was literally designed for people with physical limitations. Isn't that perfect for us seniors who might be dealing with our own set of limitations? After 6 weeks of consistent practice, just twice a week for about 40 minutes, I noticed something had changed. I was standing taller. The chronic ache in my lower back had subsided from a constant shout to an occasional whisper. I could get up from the floor without using furniture to pull myself up. Small victories became big ones. 3 months in, I could carry my own groceries without pain. 6 months in, I joined my daughter and grandson for a walk around the lake, the whole lake, without needing to stop and rest every few minutes. But the physical changes were just the beginning. What surprised me most was how Pilates affected my mind. The practice requires such concentration, such mindfulness, that it became a form of moving meditation. My anxiety decreased. I slept better. Friends started commenting that I seemed lighter somehow, not just physically but emotionally. I remember one morning, about 8 months after I started, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and actually didn't recognize my posture at first. I was standing straight, shoulders back, head high. I looked confident. I hadn't realized how much my physical posture had been affecting how I felt about myself. Now I know what you might be thinking. That's great for you, Margaret, but I have insert condition here. Trust me, I understand. I have arthritis in both hips, osteopenia in my spine, and a replaced knee from a skiing accident in my 50s. The beauty of Pilates for seniors is that it can be modified for almost any condition. Can't get down on the floor? Chair Pilates is a thing. Have balance issues? Wall Pilates offers support. Limited range of motion. Props like bands and balls can help you access movement safely. I've seen people in my senior Pilates class with Parkinson's, recovering from strokes, managing diabetes, dealing with fibromyalgia, you name it. Our instructor knows how to modify every single exercise to make it accessible while still being effective. And let's talk about the cost, because that's a real concern for many of us on fixed incomes. While studio classes can be expensive, there are affordable options. Many community centers offer senior Pilates at reduced rates. Online classes have become incredibly popular. My favorite costs less per month than a single coffee shop visit. The time commitment is manageable too. I started with just 20 minutes twice a week. That's it. Now I'm up to 40 minutes 3 times a week because I want to be, not because I have to be. One unexpected joy of my Pilates journey has been the community. When you're younger, making friends seems effortless. As we age, it becomes harder to form those connections. My Pilates class has become more than exercise, it's become my social lifeline. There's something bonding about groaning together as you hold a plank position for what feels like an eternity. We laugh at ourselves, celebrate each other's progress, and understand each other's limitations in a way that people outside our age group simply can't. Marge, who's 84, recently told me she hadn't made a new friend in over a decade until she joined our class. Now she has a whole group of us who check on her, share recipes, and occasionally meet for coffee after class. This social aspect isn't just nice, it's essential for our health. Studies consistently show that social isolation is as dangerous for seniors as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases our risk of dementia, heart disease, and depression. Exercise that connects us with others isn't just good for our bodies, it's vital for our minds and hearts too. The real magic happens when Pilates principles start seeping into your everyday movements. I now catch myself engaging my core when I'm standing in line at the grocery store. I practice proper spinal alignment when I'm sitting watching TV. I use my breath to help me through moments of stress or discomfort. This is what they call functional fitness, exercise that directly improves your ability to perform daily activities. It's not about developing impressive muscles or achieving extreme flexibility. It's about making your normal life easier and more comfortable. Take something as simple as getting out of a car. Before Pilates, I would awkwardly twist, grip the door frame, and essentially haul myself out, often with a little involuntary groan. Now I know how to engage my core, use my leg strength properly, and exit with control and dignity. No groaning necessary. Or consider reaching for something on a high shelf. That used to be a risky proposition that often ended with me asking for help. Now I understand how to ground through my feet, lengthen through my spine, and reach safely without compromising my balance. These might seem like small things, but they add up to independence. And isn't that what we all want as we age? To remain independent, capable, and confident in our own bodies. Let me share something deeply personal with you. After my husband passed away 5 years ago, I fell into a depression that manifested physically. My body literally seemed to curl in on itself, as if physically expressing my emotional pain. My children were worried. My doctor suggested medication, which helped somewhat, but I still felt disconnected from myself. Pilates has been a form of physical therapy for my grief. Through conscious movement, I've been able to release tension I didn't even know I was carrying. There's a Pilates exercise called heart openers that literally expands your chest, counteracting that protective hunching we do when we're hurting. The first time I did this exercise effectively, I found myself unexpectedly in tears, good tears releasing tears. I'm not saying Pilates cured my depression. That would be oversimplifying a complex condition. But it gave me a tool to express and process emotions through my body when words failed me. And that's something we don't talk about enough as we age, how our emotional and physical health are so deeply intertwined. How movement can be medicine not just for our aching joints, but for our aching hearts as well. If you're inspired to try Pilates but unsure where to begin, let me offer some practical advice from one senior to another. First, start with a qualified instructor who has experience working with older adults. Not all Pilates is taught the same way, and you want someone who understands the specific needs and concerns of our age group. Second, be completely honest about your limitations and health conditions. A good instructor will appreciate this information and use it to keep you safe while still challenging you appropriately. Third, invest in comfortable clothing that allows you to move freely, but isn't so loose that your instructor can't see your form. You don't need special equipment to start. Most studios provide everything you need, and for home practice, a simple mat is sufficient. Fourth, be patient with yourself. Progress in Pilates isn't measured by how quickly you advance to difficult moves, but by how deeply you understand and control the basic ones. I've been practicing for 3 years now, and I'm still refining movements I learned in my first month. Finally, make it sustainable. Choose a practice schedule you can actually maintain. Consistency trumps intensity every time when it comes to seeing real results. As I approach my 75th birthday, I can honestly say I feel better than I did at 65. Not because I've discovered some miracle cure for aging, we all know that doesn't exist, but because I've found a way to work with my aging body rather than fighting against it or surrendering to its limitations. Pilates has given me back something I thought was lost forever: confidence in my own physical capability. The joy of movement. The simple pleasure of playing with my grandchildren without fear or pain. If you're watching this and thinking your active days are behind you, if you've been told that pain and limitation are just your new normal, if you've started to believe that your body has betrayed you, I want you to know it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to accept discomfort as your constant companion. You don't have to give up activities you love. You don't have to watch life from the sidelines. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. That's all Pilates asks of you. And in return, it might just give you back the vitality you thought was gone forever. I'm Margaret, I'm 72 years old, and I'm just getting started. Won't you join me?